In this video, we're going to walk you through how to make a simple vase like this one. And if you look at this vase, it is curved on the sides, it has a logo on the front, and it is hollowed out on the inside. So first, let's start a new object. I'm going to start with a sketch. I'm going to pick one of these vertical planes to sketch on. Now I'm going to start by just drawing a couple lines that represent the overall size of my vase. Now I want my vase to be 80 millimeters tall. It's a little vase. I want the neck or the top of the vase to be 36 millimeters wide total. So I want to type in half of that. And then I want the bottom to be a little bit wider, and that's going to be at 20 millimeters. If you notice, as I'm drawing these, I'm allowing the Fusion to add constraints, to add these parallel constraints and this vertical constraint as I draw it and let it snap the vertical. Now these three lines are sketched as a guide to give me the overall size of my vase. Now I'm going to sketch the curve of it, and this I'm going to do freehand. So we're going to use, instead of a line tool, we're going to go up here and you're going to use the fit point spline tool. If it doesn't show up on your toolbar, you're going to create, and you can go to spline, and it should be the first one. And now I'm going to click. I'm going to start from the top and go down to the bottom and just kind of draw a few dots that define the curve of the vase that I want. So I'm going to start by clicking on the top corner here. I want to come in a little bit. Then they come back out a little bit. They're going to come back out farther. And then the curve down. And this last one, I'm going to let snap to the bottom line here. And then I'm going to finish. And now I have an enclosed shape. And again, I just kind of freehanded that. Now, if you want to change any of these, you can hit escape or hit the select button to go back to select. And if you notice, when this spline is selected, if you zoom in a little bit, each dot where I click, there is a kind of pivoty point there, and I can move this around. So I can kind of redefine. If I want to go a little bit thinner up on top, I can move it in. If I want to be a little fatter up on top, I can move it out. And also, when I select one of these dots, I can actually control, there are these handles that show up, these green handles, and this lets me control how curvy that point is. So you can kind of go back and by hand just redefine the shape of your vase. And again, at this point, it's good to just play around with this and just see what the different, to get a feel for how to draw splines and what these handles do and what moving the points do. For our purposes here, this is a fine shape for me. So I'm going to finish my sketch. Go back to our home view. Now, in this time, instead of extruding things in one dimension or extruding things linearly, we're going to revolve something. So I'm going to go up here and click the revolve tool. It automatically selected my vase. If it didn't select it, I could just select that sketch. And now where it says axis over here, I'm going to put, this is the axis you want to revolve around. I'm going to choose this edge here of my vase. And it spins it around. And you could, so right now it says 360 degrees, you could do a partial revolve. Like if you want to make like a Pac-Man vase, which wouldn't be a very good vase, you could change that, but we want to fully go around, so we're going to make sure that is 360 degrees. And we're going to hit OK. And there is the outline of our vase. Now that doesn't make a very good vase if it's just outlined. We want our vase to be hollowed out on the inside. So we're going to use, I could draw another shape and revolve it around and subtract it, but there's another tool that works really well for this. We're going to go up to the Modify menu, and we're going to select shell. If it doesn't show up again, go to modify and select shell. And what this does, it lets you select a face and then tell it how thick you want your thing to be, and it'll actually hollow out the thing for you. So we want to hollow out the inside of this, so I'm going to click the top face. It's going to ask me how big do I want this to be. I'm going to type in 2 millimeters and hit enter. And just like that, I have a hollowed out vase. Now we want to make this a little bit cleaner looking. I'm going to add a little bit of a round to the top. So I'm going to select our fillet tool, click on there, just do a small round to the top. Maybe one on the inside as well. Probably can't do one, it's 2.4, see what that does. Sure, why not? Just to give it the break the edges, or the break the edges a little bit. And now, simple like that, we have a vase that we could 3D print. And we were done. But we want to go a little bit farther because in my sample, I had a little logo on the front. So I'm going to show you one more little trick to put logos. And if you look at the logo that we want to put on here, if you notice, the logo is curved to the shape of our vase. So we can't just draw a logo on a flat plane and extrude it. We have to do something a little bit different. I am first going to draw something on a flat plane though. So I'm going to draw a new sketch. I'm going to pick this interior plane, one of the ones inside of my vase. Doesn't matter which one. And I'm going to freehand this a little bit. You would want to do a little better alignment maybe. I'm going to go to create, let's create a polygon. And I'm going to just put it there. Let's use some constraints. I'm going to make the center of this coincident to, oops, not to that point. Let's undo that. Let's turn our origins back on. Let's make the center of this coincident to that line. Let's give it the dimension, the center from the bottom. Let's have that go up, I don't know, let's say 25. And then also I want right now my kind of polygon here is at a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to just use a horizontal constraint and say I want the top of this to be horizontal, and that'll straighten it out. Now I'm going to throw in a little piece of text. Actually, first I'm going to offset my polygon. Make sure change selection is selected. I'm going to offset it 1 millimeter bigger. And then I'm going to go create some text. And I'm going to use these pieces here just to make sure it fits inside. Again, you could also freehand the text. I'm going to draw my box using that. Let's just put a letter M inside there. Let's center it up and down and sideways. Arial's kind of boring. For some reason my computer doesn't want me to select fonts. Let's use that. That looks fine. Sure, for this case that looks fine. Finish that, and we'll finish our sketch. So now we could go and extrude this. So I could say I want to extrude. I could choose, for example, that outline and that sketch, and I could extrude it out. Now that would cut a hole in the vase, which again wouldn't make it a very good vase. If I add material, if I put join, that's going to add that, but it's also going to add it to the inside. That's not what I want to do. So if you notice over here to the under the extrude menu, where it says start, we usually put profile plane, but we can change that. So we can say I want to start on an object. So I'm going to say I want to start, and I'm going to select, oops. Oh, I'm in the middle of, let's cancel that. Let's do that. Got stuck because I was in the middle of doing that. So let's make an extrude. I'm going to select on the object, and I'm going to select this object. And now the profiles, I'm going to still select those profiles. Now I'm long holding down here so I can grab the text. And now when I pull this out, if you notice, it's pulling out from the outside of this. Oops. If I'm just going to try to just type in, there you go. Let's do about 2 millimeters so we can see it. But if I look on the inside, there is nothing added on the inside. It only started adding material when it started on the outside of the curved vase. Even the curved parts, there's nothing there. Let's actually make this 1 millimeter. Enter. And now I have my little curved logo on front of my vase. And again, it didn't go through the vase. It's not on the inside. It's just right there on the front. And our vase is done.